Love Lessons, the show where healthy couples come to share their wisdom from the lessons they've learned in love. We discuss everything from money to parenting to social media, and don't leave out stress and sex. Go get your pen and paper because class is now in session. Come catch your blessings. Welcome to Love Lessons, hosted by Trey Kearney.
Hey,
Hello.
Trey.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Love Lessons. Y'all know it's gonna get hot and steamy in here tonight. No, I'm just joking.
We ready.
It really is. Hi, Brian and Lisa McNeill. The McNeills are in the building. They are our guest instructors. Hello.
Hello, Miss Trey Kearney.
Hello.
How are you? We are honored to be here.
Oh, thank y'all so much for saying yes. I really, really appreciate this. So, the McNeills are one of my favorite couples, and I've seen them in person a couple of times, and they have always been just the light in the room. Like both of them, their personalities, they make everybody in the room feel welcome. Every time I see them, I've always felt the love in their heart. Their spirit is good. So I'm just glad to have them here because I promise you, they are some of the nicest people that I've ever met. So I just had to say that. So on Love Lessons, the first thing that I always love to know about is your background. So tell me a little bit about how you were raised. Tell me about your relationship with your mother and father. And we'll start with ladies first, of course.
That's a bit of a difficult question because although I have a wonderful relationship with my mother now, my background was not necessarily ideal growing up. But I thank God for all of the lessons that came through, all of the situations that I went through. But it was definitely tumultuous to begin.
What about your dad?
I didn't know him. I didn't find him until 2 years after he'd actually passed.
Oh, okay.
So
Brian?
I was able to actually that was not necessarily a bad thing because I was actually able to imagine or create the profile that I wanted in him, and I didn't have the reality of who he was to ruin it. Right?
I love that.
Any of the mistakes that he could have made, he didn't get to make them. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the perspective that all of the experience has given me.
I really love that you said I was able to imagine and create something other than having just another bad experience. So
Yes.
you can go and say, my dad was a great guy and make that whatever you want to. I love that.
Yeah.
Brian?
Exactly.
I grew up in the East New York section of Brooklyn, New York, and on my block, there were 300 families, and only 2 households had a dad in the house. My dad and a kid across the street named Lee, he had a dad in the house, but all the other households were single mother households. And although my dad was there for me, he did teach his son some things, and everybody in the neighborhood knew you did not mess with Dave McNeill's son. He was my protector in a rough neighborhood. If he ever found out anything happened to me, he was going to go get him, even if he just scared me. Okay, my mom was a stay-at-home mom almost all of my growing up years. So although my dad he was a teacher, but some of the times the things he taught me was what I didn't want to do because because I watched him, he was not faithful to my mother, and I found that despicable. And he was blatantly not faithful to her. Like she couldn't do nothing about it. He can leave and come as he please and flirt however he wanted to, I just thought that was disgusting. So because of that, infidelity has never been my vice.
Wow. I love, oh man, see, for the fathers who are listening, because I know we have fathers that will listen, you put a stain on your child when you think that we're not paying attention. Your children, your daughters and your sons, when you think we're not paying attention. And sometimes it's hard to love somebody that's doing things that disgust you. Like that's disgusting to do that to my mom. So I thank you for your transparency. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it just really taught me what I didn't want to be as a husband, you know. But I will say I'm grateful that I did. I'm part of a men's organization right now, and the way the men's organization was set up originally is because for men who did not have a relationship with their fathers. Because when men don't have a relationship with their fathers, they spend their whole lives seeking their own identities. But I had a relationship with my father, so I was always grateful for that. I never not knew who he was or where he was.
Wow, I love that. So that'll take us right into our next topic, our next question. Should divorce ever be an option, and do you guys have deal breakers?
Yes.
Divorce should be an option.
Divorce should be an option. You should not be held hostage by a decision that you made without potentially all of the information. Because when you find out more information, you should have the right to make a new decision. Is there a deal breaker? I think we were married late enough in life that we came together already realizing who and what we were individually. And we had already kind of sought those things in one another. We were drawn to those things. So the things that were necessary, that were deal breakers, were either they just didn't even come to an issue. I don't think
there's almost nothing Lisa could do that would make me not be married to her. Damn near ain't nothing. Okay, there's almost nothing she could do, because it took me a long time to find this wife. We were both late. We both had been married before. Mm-hmm. And we were 47 years old when we found each other.
Right.
So we were a little bit more mature. But it took me 2 years of prayer for God to send me the right woman for me, for her to appear. Okay. So, and my wife told me that early on too. She was like, I wouldn't leave you for this or this or this. She gave me she had a list of some stuff. and because it was such a grown-up thought she had, the things that she said, I never want to do. Okay,
and they're not his nature. I don't want you to have to fight whatever your proclivities are in order to be with me, but at the same time, I want you to respect what I expect. Yeah. And I think that was where we were.
Yeah, the most important thing for me is that my wife can completely trust me at all times, and she never, ever, ever has a reason to worry about her husband tipping out or anything like that.
No.
Never.
The most I have to worry about is that there's football on for 3 to 5 days. Then I lose my husband.
You do not lose your husband.
Then I would be a football widow for that period.
That's her thing, man. I do love football. God. I do love sports, and I want to watch them. Okay, I want to watch sports, and I want to have a cigar daily. So.
I'm sorry, that's the best I ever heard. The football widow.
Yeah,
losing for a season.
Yeah, it's just for a season. But I really had to learn how to deal with that, because in all honesty, I am not a sports person at all. Like, I even tried to watch it because I love my husband. I want to spend time with him, but there's nothing about it that I can enjoy. I might catch a highlight that I can find enjoyment in, but or a backstory that I might find enjoyment in. But the actual game, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, tennis, they all feel like golf to me. Like, no, thank you.
Okay.
Lisa, you are the cutest thing ever right now, because you are speaking the truth. And I'm glad that you had, like you said, I had to learn how to deal with that. And I'm glad you were able to give him that space to say, hey, I'm going to let you go because I don't want to see that. And that's okay. Carol is laughing too. Carol's over here cracking up.
Hey, Carol.
That's our girl, Carol.
How
you
doing?
Yeah. Oh, Carol.
She has a wedding anniversary 3 days after ours. Our wedding anniversary is next week. No.
Oh, yes.
The 23rd.
The 23rd.
Yeah, the 23rd.
Oh,
I never remember the year, but I always remember the day. So, like, I don't know how long. Well, now I know, of course, it's 6 years, because we talked about it this week, where I thought it was 7 years. But that's a testament to the fact that I feel like I'm with the person that I was supposed to be with. And I actually, thank God, don't really remember much of the time that I wasn't with him.
Oh.
It is. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness.
You said a word. And it's the best, Trey. You're having us on at a good time, a really good time. You know, we talked about this. We've never really had a real fight or argument.
No, we talked about that earlier this week on the show.
That's right. On our show, on our podcast. But I was thinking it was 10 years between the time my last marriage ended and the time I discovered Lisa. It was 10 full years. And during that time, I knew my life was going to matter. I knew I was going to do great things in my life. I knew I was going to travel and do all kinds of things. But in my mind, I was imagining them doing it by myself.
Mm.
And I was imagining meeting great people when I go to those places. But when God brought Lisa to me, now I can't even imagine doing any cool thing I do for the rest of my life. I want her with me.
Oh, y'all are just so awesome. This is so awesome because there's so many people right now in this world who have lost hope based on media, like relationships. It's just always somebody breaking up, and it's only because media wants to show the negativity. That's why I thought it was so important to have a dynamic of healthy relationships to bring hope back to us single people who are in relationships that are struggling right now. Like marriage is important. Like so many people are just walking away. So this is why I wanted to fill the people up with joy and happiness, to know that it's okay to really love somebody and want to be with them and do everything with them.
It is, but I think it's also important that we're not only showing a one-sided impression of what the relationship is. True enough, we have never really had a knockdown, drag out argument in all the time we've been together. But at the same token, we have had disagreements, and some of them we had on the air. We actually chose not to turn off the cameras.
That's right.
We've had them from start to finish, from this doesn't make sense and I'm not going for it, to now I understand and let's all figure it out, kumbaya. But letting people see the dynamic.
And people have said they really, really appreciate that transparency. We've been on the air Monday through Friday since October of 2016. So that's a lot of time they get a chance to see us. And it's hard to fake the funk.
Can't fake it.
Wow. So let's talk about submission. So, people be going crazy when they hear the word submission, especially nowadays, these newfangled age women. And, I'm a woman of a certain age. I don't mind submitting. If you got your stuff in order, submission is natural. So tell me about when you guys got married and what did the word submission mean to you? And does submission still exist in your relationship?
You want to go first?
I can.
Please do, because I got some answer. I got an answer.
And Trey, you can stay on screen with us as well. It doesn't matter. We don't have to have the solo screen. But
I love y'all on the solo screen.
Okay.
So first of all, the Bible does say, submit ye one to another. A lot of times people like to talk about her submitting to him and that's it. But the Bible is clear. Both are in there. Yes, I submit to my husband as unto the Lord. I submit to my husband, let's say in the natural, when we're talking about regular day-to-day things, because we actually are business partners as well as marital partners, right? So for the situations where he is the subject matter expert, his decision is the last word. We submit to that decision. Whereas in situations where I am the subject matter expert, he defers, he has deferred to my decision as the subject matter expert in that area. So together we actually make up for one another.
Submission to me is an all the time thing, and it's both. I submit to my wife all the time, and she submits to me all the time. Okay, this is not, I think grown-ups have to get past it because it doesn't matter as much. In areas where it matters, go ahead and submit to the other person when you can. I'm not trying to be 50-50. We're trying to be 100-100. Okay?
Yes. And submission, please know that submission is not oppression.
I will tell you, I take delight when I have an opportunity, when I can defer. I take delight in that. Now, I still am old-fashioned in a lot of things. I'm head of the household. I'm the man of the house. I bring home the bacon. You fry it up in the pan. That's still a part of me. Okay. However, when those times come, and there's lots of them. There are lots of times come, but it doesn't matter. I'm not keeping a stat about how often do I have to submit to my wife, or will I submit to my wife? It's not a question. I enjoy it. I enjoy all of that.
Neither one of us is going to put the other in harm's way.
Right. And I trust. That's a matter of trust. Maybe submission can be best identified as a matter of trust.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you trust me enough to know that I'm not going to put you in a position that's harmful to you in any way? And do I trust you enough to know that you are not going to make any decisions that are harmful to me in any way?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Your thoughts on that, Trey?
I love everything y'all said. I love that subject matter expert. Listen, I need me a husband. Thank you, God, for sending the McNeills. That if I'm the subject matter expert, I'm not forcing anything. I might just be better with this or that.
Right.
In
Or I
that
might be
area.
more
And you
knowledgeable
know,
in that
that's
area.
yes, that's a good thing.
Yes. I never looked at it like that. And I'm sure the people listening did not look at it that way. That, of course, if you're better with money, then I should submit in that area because you're the subject matter expert. I'm out here spending all our money. We got to pay the bills, and I'm out here buying shoes. I'm going to need somebody to be like, no, this is what we're doing. So, speaking of money, but I love that subject matter expert. I'm using that next time when I ever go on a date because
I pray the right man appears in your life as well.
I pray too, because I'm gonna use that subject. Maybe I better not use that on the first date. Maybe I better let use that in.
Maybe not the first date.
Okay, maybe not the first date. Maybe 2 dates in, I'm gonna be like, what are you a subject matter expert
Okay.
in? I'm curious now. I need to see where you leading, bro, and if I'm gonna be able to submit in that area, because we both can't be the subject matter expert. No, I'm just joking. So let's talk about money.
Okay.
How do you guys handle money in your marriage?
Me or you?
You could go first.
All right. I like to pay all the bills myself. Okay. I like to bring in all the money to handle all the bills. And I like it when Lisa, anything she makes great money. Okay. But I want to pay all the bills. Okay. Maybe that's me being chauvinistic, maybe, but I want to pay all the bills. Okay. Now, here's another thing too about money, because I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. And I do have some seasons that are better than others. And this is important. And this is about trusting of each other. I want to pay all the bills all the time. Okay. I don't consider my wife's money.
And I don't like it to be considered.
When it comes to our bills. Okay. Okay. But that's how I roll. Okay. Let me make my point. Okay. That's what I want to do all of the time, every single month of the year. Okay. I want to pay all the bills. However, in my world as an entrepreneur, there are some seasons that are better than others. And in those seasons, when I'm having a down season, when I'm having a valley season, she can carry the ball. And it's not a question. And I don't feel any less because I know when most of the time, and when she can't do it, it doesn't matter when she can't do it, but when I can't do it, I had to learn this, Trey. I had to learn this, that my wife can carry the ball when I can't. If I'm sick or if I'm having a down season or something like that, she'll cover it. But most of the time, I'd rather handle it. Okay.
Wait a minute. My wife could carry the ball when I can't handle it. Come through, Jesus.
Yes. Now he can definitely count on that. But my money don't like handling no balls. So just the truth of the matter, and I tell this to him all the time. His money is the bill money, the overhead money, and my money is the excursion money, the play money. And I don't like my money to have a job. His money got to have a job.
And that's fine.
But I know that my money can definitely, it's still our money. At the end of the day, it's still our money.
I had to learn that too. Okay. I had to learn that too, because I will tell you this, and this is not going to make me look good. When I'm not bringing in money that makes me comfortable, I'm not the same guy. I'm not as nice. I'm not as easygoing. If I'm having a dip in my money, or if my money gets lower than I'm comfortable with, if it ain't talking about money, I don't want to hear it. Okay. I'm chasing a dollar, and my focus is on that too. But I had to learn a couple of things. One, I had to learn that my value is greater than the money that I bring in.
Yeah.
My value. And she had to teach me that, because I had never heard that before. I never learned that lesson, that I have more value than my money. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is an important lesson.
It is an important lesson.
Okay.
It's an important lesson for, I won't talk about all men. I'm not talking about all relations, but particularly for my husband, who is very, very secure and confident and a very big expert at what he does. There came times that, just because of the season that he might be in, or the, whatever the situation may be, that the money wasn't coming the way he was accustomed to it for his position, and it began to impact his persona or his personality and self-worth and self-value. And, I don't want that. I want him to know that while I appreciate everything that he is, everything that he does, everything that he brings to the table, it's the whole package. It's not just one piece or the other piece.
Wow. I want the women to hear just now, any woman that's tuned in, I want you to hear, especially what both said, but what Brian said. If you are dealing with something in your household and your man's money ain't right, it ain't you, boo. Men don't be right when they money not right. They be getting ugly on the inside. They be feeling insecure. They be feeling, worthless or useless. You can talk a little bit more about that, Brian.
Well, you're right. You don't feel as good about yourself if you're not carrying the ball.
Yeah.
Even though, and this is something that it makes sense when I say it, okay, but sometimes it's hard to apply it. But Superman is really a myth, okay? And I meet with men twice a month trying to overcome this myth that we're supposed to be Supermen and we're supposed to have all the answers to all the questions. Mm-hmm. Now, it still frustrates me if I don't have an answer to a question. It still frustrates me, but not as much as it used to.
And it still frustrates me that sometimes he tries to have an answer for questions that are not even questions.
Exactly. That's true. What you said is true. But I feel like I want to be able to answer the question. I feel like I want to be able to solve that problem or fix that thing. And it's not always required that I have an answer.
And I think that's an important point to make, that we, and even like I said, even in our age and stage in our relationship, we're still realizing that communication happens differently for different people.
That's the greatest thing about my marriage, is that we both are communicators. We can articulate what's going on.
And what we're finding is a lot of times the questions, the conversations, expectations of conversations may be different from one to another. He may be going in, okay, we're going to have this conversation and here's the problem. Here's the solution. Let's figure it out. Call it a day. God bless and good night. Everybody go home and whatever you're going to do. But sometimes the conversation is just that. It is open-ended and there is no conclusion. There is no conclusion. It was a matter of exchanging information, or it could be just venting or whatever it might be. But taking the time to articulate that at some point before frustration sets in, which actually brings me to the point that sometimes got to say it up front. I know how my husband is. I know that he's going to try immediately. As soon as I start bringing up what I might think or see as a problem, he's immediately thinking as a solution. And I'll have to say, honey, I just need to talk this out. And that's a clue to listen to it differently.
Yeah. Not look for the solution now.
The instructors are in the building. If you just tuned in, you're tuned into Love Lessons. And we have the McNeills in the building. Brian and Lisa are instructing tonight. If you just heard what she said, sometimes you got to say, honey, I'm not looking for you to solve a problem. I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just talking, because men are natural born fixers.
Amen.
I had this conversation with a lot of autism. I have a son who's on the spectrum that's 12 years old, nonverbal, and a lot of men who have children on the spectrum, it affects their marriage drastically because they can't fix
it.
They can't fix the situation. They can't fix the child. They can't fix the marriage. They can't fix it. So it causes a wedge in the marriage. So it's just important to know, right, that I'm not expecting you, honey, to fix this. I'm just talking. Thank you, Lisa. And to all the wives that are listening that are in trouble right now, because a lot of times it is a communication problem. Like most marriage, a lot of marriage, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of marriages that are suffering from either communication, money, and sex. Because, at a certain age, I'm not saying I had that problem, because I don't, to all the brothers out there that might be looking for me. But anywho,
I'm dead.
Shameless plug for a single sister.
A single sister.
I love y'all. We're gonna talk about opposite sex friends. Let's go there. So some people have opposite sex friends. How would you feel, or would you be comfortable if your husband went to a woman to get some advice? Or how would you feel if your wife went to a man to get some insight on your relationship?
Let me go first on this one.
Come through.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. I don't want to leave any room for the devil. I don't even want to leave any room for the appearance of it. Okay. Even if it was completely innocent, No, absolutely not. Even if it's a woman that's been a friend of mine for a long time, even if she was a friend of mine before my wife, if she comes at me with something that I wouldn't feel comfortable saying in front of my wife, no, absolutely not. We're not going to do that. And if woman tried to flirt with me or cross that line, okay, that I wasn't comfortable with, I might let it know once. Okay, but if she tries it again, boom, she's cut off from everything. Block, delete, eliminated. No, absolutely not. When you start having these intimate conversations outside of your marriage with another person, especially someone out of the other sex, you are inviting a problem, a way bigger problem. Don't even sign up for that class. Don't even take that course. Don't do it. Absolutely not. It's not optional.
Not to mention the other person may have a perspective, but they don't have your wife's perspective.
That's right. And they're not your wife. Okay.
Or your husband's, like if the other person was on the other hand.
We'll work it out.
Yeah.
In my house.
Talk to the person you have a problem with.
Nah. Absolutely not.
Oh, well, see, that's all I'm saying. I'm just, everybody has a different. I just want other people to know, other couples to know, because we see this on. I always got a pen because y'all know I'm taking notes of everything y'all saying. But we see people on Instagram and relationship goals when they see this person and they see that person. I just want every person that's listening to know that everything doesn't work for everybody. Relationships are not cookie cutter. Some people
like Lisa
have.
always says, I'm only a marriage expert in this marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's it. Only relationship expert in this relationship.
That's right. And if it works for you, great. But I can't speak for what you may be willing to accept or not accept. So it has to be an individual choice. These things, the parameters are defined by you, particularly if you are of a certain age. Prior to that, we tried to have designs and everything because there were different things, different elements involved. You were going to be raising children, rearing children. You were going to be traveling from one place to another. But at a certain age, you have to define the parameters for yourself. And the most important buy-in that you need is for the other person. So I don't need your buy-in. I love you, Trey, but I don't need you to approve of what I'm doing in my relationship. I need him to approve. I need for him to be okay with it. So although we live our relationship out loud on social media, we still are very mindful that you have the right to your own opinion, and don't bring it to me unless you want me to straighten you out.
Well, the instructor. These instructors ain't playing, y'all. Don't be coming for people's relationships. Don't be coming trying to get nobody no advice.
Relationship advice.
Yeah.
Just
that's
unless they ask.
I don't play that.
Unless they ask, just keep your mouth shut. Because Lisa Santiago McNeill ain't playing no games with none of y'all. She said, Trey, even though I love you, I'm gonna need you to always mind your business when it comes to me and my man. Even if I come talk to you.
Mind your business.
Hey.
And mind your business.
That's right.
And sometimes as women, I want us to hear. Okay. I want us to hear what Lisa said. Sometimes as women and friends, sometimes our good girlfriends, sometimes our sisters, they just need somebody to talk to. They don't need your advice. They just venting, because I've noticed that in years of growing, now that I'm older, me and my crew, they vent. You love them, I love them. Years and years ago, your friends, you would be mad at your boo no more. They still mad. They talking about, oh, she was just talking about he did this or he did that yesterday. Now they all booed up. Yeah, because it was a moment. Like, please don't do that. So let's talk about fair fighting, right? People get into nasty fights. How do you guys deal with anger and disagreements?
Yeah, I'm grateful we don't have that a lot, but anger, because I have been through enough personal coaching and enough coaching of others, I realized a lot of times when I'm the angriest is because I'm defensive about being misunderstood. Whoa. So it's a me thing rather than a he thing.
And I will say, when I'm angry at my wife or upset with her for anything, and again, it doesn't happen that often because we both are very, very conscientious and we both want to please the other in my home. But when Lisa does something or says something or that hurts my feelings or upsets me in any way, I might marinate it on a day, but no longer than a day. Okay. And then I'm gonna say, baby, I need to talk to you. Look, what you said that time, it hurts my feelings. Now, what happens normally when that happens in my relationship, Lisa didn't know that she had crossed the line. She did it unwittingly. And normally when I say, look, that really, really bothered me, baby. And it sends her crying. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Because I'm never doing it intentionally. I'm never doing it intentionally. Once again, we have very different backgrounds. And that's something to remember when you're having conversations and disagreements. Understand what may seem normal or obvious to you might not be the same for somebody else because they don't have the same background as you. So you got to be mindful of that. And I'm glad that we have certain things, certain tools that we use with each other, like the cone of safety. The
cone of safety is one of our major tools. Mm-hmm. When we need to say something that might cross the line or might seem risky or might seem hurtful, look, I need to say something, but I need the cone of safety because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but there's something I need to say. So please, the cone of safety means you're not going to get mad at it and you don't get to come at it. You need to just hear it. Okay.
And then we'll fix it after.
Yeah.
We'll fix it after that. We use the cone of safety oftentimes when you're in situations where you don't know the right words and you don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But in order to keep from lingering it, because by not sharing something or not saying something, unfortunately, it's like the way that mushrooms grow in the dark. It actually gets bigger. So by giving each other permission, listen, this is going to be ugly. It ain't going to be cute. I'm not going to be seen in the best light. And I probably shouldn't even be thinking this, but here's what's going on. Boom. You put it out there.
Can I have the cone of safety?
Yes.
First.
Yes. And with the cone of safety, it just prevents that from mushrooming.
Wow. Cone, is it CONE?
Yes, ma'am.
The cone of safety. Yeah. I love all of this. Come on now. This is so good. No, like really, like to be able to say, man, I have the cone of safety to know that's a code word for I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. This is awesome. So anybody who's listening right now, please, it may not be called the cone of safety for you, but get a cone of safety where because a lot of men are imploding. We saw that with Will Smith. Holding stuff in. Eventually, if you don't say it, you're going to, instead of implode, you're going to explode at the wrong time on the wrong person. That is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back and is going to destroy you. So please get a cone of safety in your house. And another thing that Brian said that I really, really love that I want the women to hear as well as the men. Men have feelings too, and their feelings get hurt. He says, sometimes I have to go to Lisa and say, you hurt my feelings. A lot of times men will not admit out loud on a platform that I can say to my wife, you hurt my feelings. Because that's big. That vulnerability is a sign of such strength that you have as a man and in your marriage.
I hold that very, very dear. Early on in our relationship, Brian actually took pride in the fact that I don't punish him for things that happen, for his thoughts, for his feelings, for the bills, for anything. He doesn't get punished for sharing his truth.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's really, really what I have found to be an important. I don't need to punish him, but sometimes, or maybe through teaching, maybe through upbringing, we've been taught to punish the man for failing at being perfect in a situation.
We need to talk about that.
Yes, please.
Those women who may be desiring a stronger connection to their man or greater communication. Here's what happens. Baby, they're laying off people at work and I'm not sure about my position there. Damn it, you're always losing jobs. What are we going to do when you lose your job? Okay, he heard that. He gave you some information and you stung him. Okay, you stung him.
And what you just did was showed him that he can't share everything with you.
It might take a couple of tries. He might come at you with something else. I'm not sure about this or that, or I don't know about this. You're supposed to know. How come you don't know? You're the man, and you're supposed to be the man. Okay, you stung him again. Now, if you sting him a couple of times or a few times, you taught him a lesson that he doesn't let go of. And the lesson you taught him was, I can't tell her any bad news. Because if I tell her bad news, it exacerbates the situation and it makes it worse. And I don't need it made worse. I promise you, I group with men twice a month, every month for the last 9 years. And this is what probably the number one fear men have when it comes to their women. The woman making a bad situation worse. They're afraid of that. I promise you, the men are afraid of that in general. They're afraid of their wife making them feel worse or making a bad situation worse. So then they don't tell her, and then you talking about imploding? Now I got this problem outside the house, but I can't tell the person inside my house either.
And then you open up your door for some other vulnerabilities, because there's always going to be somebody who can be the comforter where your wife can't.
Well, I can hear you. And Lisa taught me earlier in our relationship, even if I didn't win or carry the ball then, or I had to give her some bad news, maybe I said I was going to do this and I didn't get it done, she was mature enough not to sting me. And then it registered to me. I said, oh, wait a minute. She didn't punish me for telling her something where I wasn't right all the time. I made a mistake. And then I tried it again. It was because they always come, opportunities come to share all the time. So, and another time came and she didn't sting me again. She was still just as loving. So then what that did for me was it gave me confidence that I could share everything with her because she's not going to sting me for it. She's not going to slap me down for it. So that made it easier for me to communicate with my wife.
Wow. Ladies, your husband, boyfriend, boo, bae, fiance lying to you because you're making him omit information by attacking him when he comes to tell you the truth. And I always tell women, don't tell a man to tell you the truth, and when he tell you the truth, you punish him for it. Because I talked, and this is so good because I talked to a few guys when I did interviews, and I said, so why are you so free to talk to your boys in the barbershop or a woman that's not attached to you? And they said just what y'all said. They said, because I know that there will not be any consequences to my actions. If I tell my wife or my girlfriend, she may not cook. She may move all the way over on the other side of the bed. She might be acting funky. She might be slamming doors. So I'm free to talk at the barbershop because I know I'm not going to get punished for just simply sharing my truth. So I thank y'all so much. And I hope that everyone who is listening right now, you are taking notes from our instructors tonight because they are really dropping some jewels and some gems tonight. I want to talk about blending families. And I'm not talking about kids all the time because we talk about blended families and we mean we're blending kids. I'm talking about when you get married, you blend whole families, mothers, fathers, cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, and all that. And people don't think about it that way. They think about when we say blended family is a couple that got kids, so we got to blend the family. I'm talking about we blending families.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you guys? Because sometimes families could be a problem. Just your wife telling you stuff and your husband and you doing too much and y'all ain't showing up. Tell me how y'all blend families and how y'all work that out amongst yourselves.
I don't want to leave you alone, but I got to run downstairs to take the pie out.
Go. I got it.
Well, y'all got a pie?
She put a pie in right before the show. So
okay.
Anyway, but I got this here. Two things about this. How do we blend families? First off, we've come to the place at this stage in our life where our friends are our family. Our friends become our families because they're closer to us than our physical family is, our biological family, because they're around us more. So they become our family, and we're blending friends, and blending the friends has been relatively easy because Lisa and I like to do the same things. We're both very, very civic, and our friends know that about us, and we do all those cool things. Now, when it comes to blending the families, her sister and mom and my sisters, my cousins and all those kinds of things. It's been a little bit easier on my side of the family than hers, just a little bit easier. But we worked that out. And even still, whether it's our friends that became our family or our biological families that we're talking about, none of them matter as much as my wife. Okay, so we will entertain and enjoy and blend as much family. But if anybody that's in her family or friends that wasn't feeling me, we had this happen not long ago. Doesn't matter to me a bit if one of her friends ain't feeling me. because I'm not dating you or marrying you. Okay.
I know that's right.
And if there's anybody in my family not feeling my wife, I heard you, but it doesn't matter a bit because I'm gonna keep my wife.
Bridget, I got a slice of pie for you. It's apple pie.
Yeah.
So, so definitely, family pet. It's a different dimension, actually. Once again, because we are mature individuals, and because much of at this age, our children are grown, and for the most part, we have chosen who we continue to associate with.
Yeah.
And those people obviously are people that we want in our sphere or his sphere. And there's a very, very small number of people that you have to put up with no matter what, just like in your family.
Just your mom, really.
Yeah, exactly. Your mom, right? So it's for me, I appreciate and I love the extended family. I mean, I love our children. I love everybody. I love all of them, and we get along well. I get along well with his sisters. I get along well with even with his with my sister wife, his previous
my
wife.
ex-wife, which I did not design, but they're friends now. Okay,
we've been friends.
They're very good friends.
Yes.
Okay?
Well, that's interesting.
It is interesting because I would not have hooked them up.
Do you have kids with your ex-wife?
I do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Move over that way.
You want me to move over this way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Yep, that makes sense. That I mean, you're gonna be forever intertwined because you have children. So
Yeah.
And when we got together, the youngest son of all of our collective children was still with his mother, and so we had
weekends.
We had weekends. We had to form a family, but ultimately he's 19 now, so we've been a family probably for the past 6 years. Actually,
Yes.
She and I became sisters really early on. I want her to always feel comfortable because there was a season that he lived with us. And I know how it is to feel separate from your child. And actually, I also know how it is to feel, and I'm only calling her crazy because I share this crazy, to feel like that's my baby and I know he's with his father and I want to be there. And I had gotten to the point with her that, listen, if you wake up at 3:00 in the morning and you need to see your son, you come and get on the couch. You come. Right. You don't have to wait.
Did.
You come.
She did.
Just come. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable about it. And it was important because I wanted her to always feel comfortable that her son was safe and that she was welcome. But she and we could go on vacation together.
And we've gone on vacations together with my ex-wife and all that. She don't like me to call her my ex-wife.
No, I don't like ex anything. I don't like the word ex.
She's a friend, I guess.
Listen, all of these sessions, this is session number 7. You guys are on fire. Has really taught me that I have some growing to do because I ain't interested in being friends with nobody ex. So yeah. Jesus fits my heart.
It is
because I ain't there.
It is. But understand there was no mess.
I wasn't trying to hook him up.
There was no mess. I didn't invite mess in. There was no mess.
Right. I get
separated from her already for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they had a child together, and I loved him, and I loved the fact that he wanted to stay in his son's life, and I didn't want to be a detriment to that. So to me, it was almost more important that she and I had a comfort level. I mean, it just by God's chance that we became really good friends, but at least that we had a comfort level so that there wouldn't be any friction with regards to him seeing his son.
Wow. Come
on. She actually loves Lisa so much too.
I do too.
She said one time to me, you know, Brian, I hate that our marriage didn't work out, but it had to not work out because that's the only way you could have found Lisa.
Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy.
I have to share this. This is I wasn't going to share it, but one of my most cherished birthday presents I received from her, and it's a memory book of our relationship. And I think the fact that she gave that to me is a testament to where our friendship has gone and has come from and has gone to. And I think you can only do that if you're a grown up.
I think you too. You know what that says too? That says like she's over him.
Yes. That's why I said don't try to apply people's stuff where it doesn't belong.
Right. And a lot of times women can't get along with the ex because there's friction. Yes. And when there is friction, I always tell people that somebody's emotions are still somebody ain't over somebody
Right.
if y'all can't get along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody
There's still
is
some mess in there.
there's still something there, some feelings, some unresolved issues, but that's
But if
just a
that were the
level of
case, then he wouldn't
right,
have been available for me.
right,
And I would have felt and sensed that during our courtship. So
right.
that you have to know that you are the only one that he wants. I don't compete for you.
Right.
I am who I am, and this is what you want. And if you don't, then move out the way.
Oh my goodness. Come on, ladies. Y'all better listen. Some of y'all messing around with men and they got these issues, and women, because they are still emotionally attached to somebody, and you see it. You see it when it's not a clear path. That person still has some things to work out. Like you said, it was a 10-year break. They have settled everything. They were good. I didn't come in no messiness. I wasn't his side chick. I didn't know him from way back when. So I love that dynamic turned out this way for y'all family, because that's an amazing thing. And again, I'm gonna need to grow up, because I'm gonna be like,
we're in your area of expertise right now, Trey. No side chicken. I've heard your talks.
Yes, ain't no side chicken, but I love that. I love how the family dynamic. Let's talk about being unequally yoked. For people who are listening right now who are about to get married, and there's some signs of some not being equally yoked. And I'm not just talking about religion, because a lot of people are unequally yoked. I'm talking about being unequally yoked in morals, values, and characters. What should people do if they are not equally yoked?
Let me get into this, okay? You want to go first?
Go ahead.
You can go first if you want to, because I'm ready.
I was just gonna say, don't do it.
Yeah,
just don't do it.
You know that whole mantra, opposites attract, only a little bit. Okay, similarities keep it together. Yeah. We both are entrepreneurial. We both work without a net. We don't have any salaries or nothing like that. So because we both were that before we got together, and we both knew that we were unemployable, we were only going to do what we do.
There was some risk that we were going to take in regards to that.
Yeah, but I didn't have to say to my wife, baby, I had a tough day as an entrepreneur. She knows. Even if I did say it, she understands completely, because she's living the same life. So we had to be yoked that way. Yeah. If one person, you have to be, on point and balanced that way. Either you both understand. If one of them is an entrepreneur, the other one's not. The one that's not has to really, really, really be understanding. Okay. Religion does matter too.
But religion has to be explained. Please don't just think that saying I believe in Jesus is enough, that you have a parallel experience of religion or a parallel understanding of religion. Just because you love Jesus is not enough clarification to what your religious and moral belief structure could be. There are lots of things that could be within those confines. And it was through communication that we not only defined what our belief system is, but we reclaimed it personally.
Yeah. We redefined it for us.
Absolutely.
We were not confined to any religious mores or any traditions. We let all that stuff go, and we defined it for us.
Oh, that's so good. We have a question in the comments. I want to answer this question. How did y'all know that he was the one, and how did you know that she was the one?
You go first.
God said so. Quite honestly, God said so. He was the manifestation of prayers, and I believe I was the manifestation of his prayers. And I believe that when we met, the opportunity for God to show that he had been listening and been attending to our needs, that came clear, that we were both individually whole and complete. Some of us, I had a little bit more baggage, but still in all, I still knew that this was the answer to many years of prayer. And he shared the same.
Yeah. In the time between wives, I dated some amazing women, talented women, smart women, beautiful women, and I enjoyed them, but they weren't my wife. Okay. They just weren't my wife. And one of the things I did, probably one of the most impactful things I ever did in my life, was I changed my prayer life. Because the men in the group, they wanted me to be yoked to somebody. They wanted me to have somebody. They wanted me to have my own lady. They saw me dating around, and they knew I didn't really want to date around, but I was going to do it because I wanted to do it. Okay, but that wasn't my wife. None of them were my wife. So my prayer life changed 2 years before I met Lisa. I started praying that God bring me the right woman for me. I could say I want a woman like does this, does that, looks like this, all that kind of stuff. But I changed my prayer life to, God, please bring me the right woman for me. God, I didn't pick well all the time. You picked this one for me. You picked, God, please bring. And it took me 2 years. I promise you, Trey, I was praying this prayer 2 years in earnest. And the day I met Lisa, the very single day I met Lisa, she probably became my wife on that day.
Whoa.
Because she was what I needed. She was what I needed in that moment. I was doing a workshop. She showed up and helped me with my workshop on the first day we met. Two of them.
Wow. Help me. Why did you help him?
Why did I help him?
Why did you help me? Yeah, that's a good question, Trey.
He has to tell the beginning of this story for me to really tell you the truth on why did I help him. But
okay.
Go ahead, tell the beginning.
Do we have time, Trey?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've been a sales trainer and a sales coach for a long time, and I was living in a city called Greensboro, North Carolina. Lisa was in Charlotte, North Carolina, a much bigger city than Greensboro. And I had decided I'm going to take my workshop to Charlotte. It was called How to Sell Your Services Like a Superstar. And it was 3-hour-long workshop. I decided I had rented a hall, and I decided I'm going to give 2 workshops on the same day. One at 9 a.m. and the other one is at 4 p.m. or something like that. 3-hour workshops, 9 to 1 and then 4 to 7. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I had hired someone to check people in at the door, and I was by myself. I drove in early that morning, and I was setting up my room. I was thinking, okay, I got to set up this room because they had round tables. I wanted to position the tables so that I can get amongst the people that were there in the room. I knew I needed to make enough coffee for the people that come in to have coffee. And I was just thinking all these things. And as I was setting up the room, I heard these high heels coming on the linoleum out in the hallway. I heard her before I saw her. Now, we've been talking on the phone before then. I knew who she was. She was helping before the event, to promote it. But I heard the heels, and when she came in the room, I saw her. She had on she don't like when I say this, but she on a short skirt, and I saw all them legs, and she had a tall mohawk at the time, had her face beat, and she looked beautiful. When I first laid eyes on her in person, just stunning to me. And so I went to shake her hand, and now I'm a ballroom dancer. I've taken classes and all that stuff. So I took her hand and I spun the lady out, brought the lady home, kissed her on the cheek, and spun her out again. And she fell right into the dance move. Now, I had never been that smooth before or since, but I did it the first moment I met her. I didn't think about it. I did a dance move right away. But after the dance move, after the kiss on the cheek, I went back to what I was doing, and Lisa looked around the room, saw what was going on. This man is out of town. He's trying to get ready to do a workshop, and he's still fumbling with tables. So she kind of like started working right away. She saw where it needed. I ain't have to ask her to do nothing. I ain't have to coach her. And more than that, when the person that I hired showed up, Lisa managed her too. So that freed me up to just do a great workshop. And then after the workshop, we went to lunch together, and she came back for the second workshop too. And then I took her to dinner too as well. Okay.
Wow. That is amazing. He ballroom danced you right into the wedding. I love it. Wait a minute. First of all, she fell right in the pocket and knew the dance. Come on.
I don't know the dance, and I didn't know the dance. Ballroom dancing is a man-led dance.
Very man-led.
Ladies, if you are in Charlotte or in Columbia, you need to go to a ballroom dance class. But because the men there will lead you around.
Yeah, as long as you have a firm lead, and I do. So
he does. You don't even have to. I don't know the dance. I don't know how to dance. But being led.
Yeah, as long as you can do a half a turn and a whole turn, you're good.
I just imagine him.
He did. So now he says, exactly. So he says, I went right to work.
Brian.
Trey, what I really did was try to gather myself. Clutching my pearls. He done kissed me. The first day we met, he kissed me.
On the cheek.
On the cheek. I mean, it was a chaste kiss. But I'm still like, Let me fix something. What? Huh? Huh?
Y'all been at it ever since. I
Yeah.
love
And then
it.
after that, like he said, he was living in Greensboro, and I lived in Charlotte, and sort of part of saying, how did you know that he was the one? He was looking for every excuse to come back to Charlotte. Any excuse to come to
that's not true.
Charlotte.
I had I had business in Charlotte, so I was driving back and forth.
He
It's
was
only
like,
it's only an hour and a half drive. So
it's
He's
an hour and a half
blushing.
drive. He was like, did you know Burger King got Big Macs on sale? I'm coming.
Burger King got Big Macs.
That's right. You didn't care what was going on. He was coming to Charlotte.
I did. I wanted to be in Charlotte, but I wanted to see Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, that is so awesome. So thank y'all so much. We got 5 minutes left, and I want to leave the 5 minutes for you guys too. For honoring me, I want to honor you with these last 5 minutes. One, I want you to tell anybody who is married, desiring to be married, about to walk down the aisle, what bit of advice would both of you give them? And anybody who's turned off from marriage as well, what advice would you give them? And then I want you to tell everybody your projects you're working on, where they can find you, how they can join your women's group, the woman to woman group, the men, is it men to men?
Networks, male empowerment networks, yes.
Yeah, I want you guys to let everybody know, but give the final thought of advice to those who are desiring marriage, going through it, and just what's your best word of advice?
okay. Got 5 minutes on the clock.
The best thing that you can do, whether you're married or single, like wanting to be married, is to first work on you. Work on you, find out who you are, what you really want, what makes you tick, what things you wish you didn't still have as pet peeves, because often the things that you can't tolerate are tied to something that has more to do with you than with another person. Figure those things out and then really trust yourself to be honest with another person and show them who you are.
I've been so blessed to have such great influencers in my life, great pastors that were friends of mine. One of the things I remember is I used to work in the gym business, health club business. And I was a manager of a health club, and there were a bunch of old heads in there. I was younger. I was in my early 30s. There were a bunch of old heads in there, men in their 50s and 60s and stuff. And a lot of them were single, and they were still in the game. They was talking about this woman, that woman, all that kind of. They've been in the sauna and the steam room talking about women in their world and how many problems they were having. And all of those men, I got a chance to hear these stories over and over again every day. They all would have preferred to be out of the game and with just one woman. They all wanted the one woman, even though they were in the game. These are men that were players. Even though they were in the game, they would prefer to have one woman. What I would say to any man out here who's considering it, it's better to have your own wife. You know, it's better to have your own wife, and it's worthy to have your own wife. And nothing is more important, and no one is more important than your own wife. If you value her as if she's the most important person in the world, you will have a much better life. Who's going to keep rain off of you? Who's going to take care of you when you're sick? Only your wife going to do that. Chris Rock had the bit, you know, marriage or new blank. New blank is not going to cook for you. New blank is not going to take care of you if you're sick. New blank's not going to read to your kids. None of that stuff. Only your wife will do that. So your wife is worth it. For those of you who are talking about who are a little bit sour on the relationships, okay, or sour on the institution of marriage, and I can understand that. Okay, I know many people who've gotten completely sour. I'm never going to do it again. Don't say. Be careful what you say. Never to. Please, 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 if you can find it a way to just let God help you and you stop trying to do it in your own strength. We get to those places where we try and do everything in our own strength. If we'll free ourselves up to let God lead us in this area, he will fix it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on. Woo, come on, come on, come on.
My name is Brian K. McNeill.
I just wanted to say one thing. Wait, Brian, I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just the power up through sickness and then health. And I know you shared on social media, so everybody knows that Lisa went through something recently. And marriage is real. Yes. You just don't know. And you're taking these vows through sickness and in health, and you only want to be there through health. Sickness is coming, and we don't know at what age. It could be 25, 35, 55, 65. So I just want people to know that there was a time when you stood up, where you shared with us the importance of being there for your wife, the prayer messages and everything. And it was a beautiful, powerful thing. And I am so, 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 so very glad that Lisa is here with us today and that she is thriving and
Yes.
well. And I'm just so glad that you guys still have time together.
Me
Amen.
too. Amen.
Yeah, it was very
Lisa
very
said me
scary. It
too.
was very scary. But my whole world changed. There was nothing more important than being there for my wife. All right. So,
Yes.
and she was very sick, you know.
Yes.
So she was very sick in the hospital. I mean, ugh.
I know, and people need to understand that is real out here. It's real. Marriage is real, and that commitment has to be real. You don't have to marry somebody just because people think that should be your next step, and you don't have to marry somebody if you're not feeling it.
Right, right. If you're not feeling it, okay.
Yes.
And some people we know live their whole lives or the rest of their lives as single women and single men happy. I don't want to put out that it's not possible to be happy unless you're married. That's not true.
It's
Okay.
not true.
All right. Do we have time to give our contact information?
Yes, of course.
So, ladies, I welcome you to join me on first and third Tuesdays at Women Empowerment Networks. Just go to womenempowermentnetworks.com. It is a fellowship that we are together with, face-to-face on Zoom, women all over the country, from Arizona to Charlotte to New York, sharing in what we can celebrate one another for, with, and through. At the same time, in another Zoom room, the gentlemen assemble
for Male Empowerment Networks. We've been doing this since August of 2013 because men need men. And men need a safe place where they can talk it out, get it up off of them. Superman is a myth, and men tend to cry in the dark. So I would say to men, if you want to be an association of other upwardly mobile, loving, and supportive men, you can come to Male Empowerment Networks. Just reach out to me directly. I'm very, very easy to find. I'll give you the links to that. Ladies, if you know of a man or a teenage man who needs the love and support of other men, or want to hear what other men have to say, because we all need guidance. We all need help. We all need to be heard. Men need to be heard. I invite you to be a part of Male Empowerment Networks. And by profession, I am Brian K. McNeill, the Sales Confidence Course. And what I do is I teach people how to sell themselves and their services better than they ever have before so they can earn more money than ever before. That's what I do for a livelihood. That's what I do for my purpose for the men.
And I am the coach's coach. I help people to publish, promote, and pursue standing in their truth through my company, Empowerment Publishing and Multimedia. I help authors to really share what they went through to help other people get through. And I look forward to meeting you face to face or following me on Facebook. You can do it at Lisa Santiago McNeill, or join me on Instagram, Lisa Santiago McNeill. I'll be doing some shenanigans over there. And we just look forward to seeing you, and hearing from you in the future.
And Trey Kearney, thank you for this opportunity to share our truth.
Thank y'all so much. This has been so rich. I have really enjoyed this conversation, and I must have you guys back again because there's so many more questions I had. But you know, an hour goes fast. But I'm gonna have you guys back. So I thank you, and I pray that God will bless you guys tenfold over and over again, your finances, your future, your family, your health, everything. I pray that he showers you with more than enough from this day forward. So everyone who tuned in, thank you so much for tuning into Love Lessons. Remember, happy spouse, happy house. See you next time. Peace and blessings.